But so you would risk being away from your child for a drink.
Well, I have done it, but it won't happen again.
You did what?
I said in this instance that it's been done, Your Honor, but it won't happen again.
Solemnly swear or affirm any testimony you give in this matter will be true.
I do.
All right, you can put your hand down. You're before the court on State of Georgia versus Kiara Shanice Batty, 2021 CR 00686. You're before the court for a petition for revocation of probation. You were before this court on July 8th, 2024, sentenced to 12 months on probation for simple battery family violence. You have 7 months and 16 days remaining. It says that you failed to avoid injurious and vicious habits. You have the metabolites of alcohol in your system, and you tested for that, positive for that on October 10th of 2024. It says you failed to comply with counseling. You were ordered to go to ASAM level 1 substance abuse treatment, and you haven't documented any classes, and you failed to complete a parenting course as directed. Ms. Batty, what's going on?
Your Honor, Ms. Batty has performed 2 of the classes. And as far as the parenting class, when she had her substance abuse initial evaluation and they told her that she needed to do treatment, they instructed her to wait on the parenting class until she had finished her substance abuse treatment class work.
All right, so when did they order the substance abuse treatment and when did she start?
I started, so I did the evaluation. I turned it into Officer Chang, and it took me about a month because of my work schedule to find a facility to work with me. So I started a month later. I had got up to going to the 3rd class, but I couldn't attend because I got arrested. So I may have to start over because it has to be consecutive. But Officer Chang told me to do the drug abuse classes first and then do the parenting course.
So,
okay, now what's about the
classes so far?
Let's talk about the drinking.
It was just a slip up, Your Honor. I had a death in the family and I just messed up.
Every time I say something about alcohol, somebody always tells me that they had a death in the family and they bereaved, and that's why they would tank their whole life just to, because of the bereavement. And I get it's strong, but I mean, ma'am, how many children do you have, Ms. Batty?
Just one.
And where's your child?
He's at school right now.
Okay, is he in your custody or somebody else taking care of him?
Well, he's in my custody when I'm not here.
Okay, so you would risk being away from your child and going to jail, because obviously y'all don't believe me when I say if you mess up, you're going to end up back here. Or when Ms. Chang says it, or when anybody tells you, if you mess up on your probation conditions, you could be arrested. But so you would risk being away from your child for a drink.
Well, I have done it, but it won't happen again.
You did what?
I said in this instance that it's been done, Your Honor, but it won't happen again.
Because I just really don't understand all y'all punishing your children without thinking. Like, as a mother, let me just tell you something. This is my theory. Your children do as well as you do. If you don't do well, your children don't do well. And if you can't think beyond the immediate, like, you got to think several steps ahead, because you got to think for you, like anything in this family. I got to think for my kids. I got to think for myself. I got to think for my husband, even though he's grown and can think for himself, because I have the global picture. As a mama, you have the global picture. Like, if I drink, I'm going to go to jail. If I go to jail, then I'm going to miss my child. I'm going to miss being with my child. He's going to miss being with me. I'm going to miss supervising his activities, making sure his homework is done, making sure he's eating well, that he's being taken care of, that he's wearing clean clothes, that he's not being bullied at school and nobody's following up on it. I'm going to miss my primary job of making sure that he is okay. We clear?
Yes, ma'am. You're absolutely right.
Well, I'm sure I'm right. I mean, they don't just give this robe to anybody, but I'm just saying, Miss Batty, how much are you willing to risk?
None.
So we're going to add some AA classes to whatever the recommendation is.
Okay.
And my understanding is, before you start telling me about your job and how you can't do it, They have virtual ones. So you can go to a virtual meeting now. Won't he do it? So Ms. Chang, what's the recommendation for Ms. Batty?
Your Honor, probation recommends that 12 days be revoked, credit for time served since November 7th, return to probation, and test each report.
And one AA meeting per week.
Yes, Your Honor. I believe that's part of the ASIM Level 1 program that she's in.
Okay. Okay.
For the
So,
duration of the program, but
yeah. So you need to do the AA meetings as part of ASAM, but you need to show proof that you're attending them to Ms. Chang. We clear, Ms. Batty?
Yes, ma'am. So
All right.
within the 17?
I'm sorry?
Take your 17 classes, attend AA meetings, one each week for the duration of your classes, and then let Ms. Chang know each time.
For the duration of probation. Now, the ones that are required
Yes.
for the classes, that's fine. But for the duration of her probation, she's going to do one AA meeting per week.
Okay.
And Ms. Chang, you had told me the date for the following report after she is released from custody.
yes, sir. Ms. Batty, if you would report this Thursday, November 21st at 9:30 a.m.
Okay.
All right, I'm signing the order and I'll send that over. Mr. Sheridan, raise your right hand for me. You solemnly swear or affirm any testimony you give in this matter will be true.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, you can put your hand down, sir. You're before the court on State of Georgia versus Jaquan Dontrell Trayvon Sheridan, 2024 CR 06212. You were before this court for public drunk and theft by shoplifting on the 30th day of July 2024. You were sentenced to 12 months on probation. You have 7 months and 12 days remaining. You failed to avoid injurious and vicious habits. You tested positive for the metabolites of alcohol on October 17, 2024. You failed to comply with counseling. You failed to document proof of completing an anti-theft course, and you failed to pay your $180 in arrears. All right, Mr. Taylor, what's going on with Mr. Sheridan?
Your Honor, Mr. Sheridan has completed the anti-theft class. Once he is able to be released from custody, if allowed to, he will be able to show proof of completing that anti-theft class and provide it to Officer Chang. He does have we do stipulate to the positive test for alcohol and to the arrears amount of $180. Mr. Sheridan does have the money to pay the $180 to catch up on his probation fines and fees. And I'll let Ms. Chang address any other issues.
Ms. Chang?
Your Honor, probation recommends that 6 days be revoked, credit for time served since November 13th, return to probation, and attend one AA meeting per week.
And Your Honor, I've informed Mr. Sheridan that he needs to provide proof of that anti-theft class completion to probation immediately upon his release from custody, if that's granted.
Yeah. Mr. Sheridan, how old are you, sir?
30 years old, ma'am.
Okay, Mr. Sheridan, what's going to happen to you?
I'm actually going back to work as soon as I get out, if I'm able to.
Okay, I got you, Mr. Sheridan, but I'm talking about like in the big picture, like you're an alcoholic. So what we going to do about that? You understand, right?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
You clear that you're an alcoholic, right?
Yes, ma'am.
You sure? Because you're not just saying that because you're trying to snow me, because it's not going to make a difference to me.
I'm not, ma'am. I'm not.
At 30 years old, Mr. Sheridan, you're going to throw your life away behind a bottle. Well, what are we doing?
Oh, ma'am, I'm not trying to do that, ma'am.
I get that, but nobody tries to be an alcoholic. It is something that they do to cope with other things. So when you say, I'm not trying to do that, I get it. You're not trying to do that. But the whole point is you either have an addictive gene, so it's maybe hereditary, or there's something that happened to you that makes it that you wish to forget certain things, or alcohol is a comfort to you. But you gotta, at some point, before you spend your whole life behind a bottle, like there's got to be some point where you just got to say, I've had enough and I need to seek better for myself. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes, ma'am. I understand.
It is possible to live a life without alcohol, but you got to be willing to do it and you got to fight for it. It's not going to be easy.
It's not.
Yeah,
Okay.
I hope that the AA meetings give Mr. Sheridan some support in that regard.
Yeah. The reason I always say AA is because I can preach to you all day. Everybody's got something. Alcoholism is not my something. But what I say to you is when you go and you sit with the people who have this same affliction and they deal with it every day. And, it's just like I tell people, if you have high blood pressure and you just stop and just let it take over you, or if you have diabetes and you're gonna eat all the cookies and candy and cake in the world, you're gonna kill yourself. It's the same with alcohol. Alcohol is a killer, like it destroys the body. And you don't want that. It destroys the brain, it destroys the body. You don't want that. So what I would say is go to these AA meetings and be open to it. Listen to what other people are going through and share what you're going through with other people, because that's the true no judgment zone. That's the true place where people are going to tell you their deepest and darkest and why alcohol is something that they turn to. And you can do the same and then find your way out of this. Because at 30 years old, Mr. Sheridan, I don't want you to lose the whole rest of what it could be an amazing life. You got me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So I'm going to accept your information. I'll accept the recommendation of probation to give you credit for time served. You're going to return to probation to complete all of the special conditions of probation. You're going to do one AA or NA meeting per week, and you'll show proof of having taken the anti-theft course within 5 days of your release. Okay.
He's here up here.
Right.
Just